Welcome to Friday, November 3rd, 2023. Your Day Weather Podcast being brought to you by Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's only daily newspaper. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com and subscribe to their daily digital email newsletter. As we head into this Friday, as we head into the weekend, we're going to see basically a continuation of what we've had over the last couple of days, which means very energetic, fast-flowing jet stream winds from the Pacific will crash into the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies, bringing snow and rain to the far northern and western and northwest areas of the western United States. Strong and gusty winds are going to be flowing along and east of the divide. We saw that yesterday with some high winds along I-80 and I-25, and there will be windy areas. And this is a mild pattern because it's Pacific air. But on the windward slopes of the mountains of the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, there will be some areas of rain and snow, mostly snow in the mountains, some rain and snow in the valleys. Now, we do see a bit more of this Pacific weather come further east into the Central Rockies by the middle of next week. So we'll see some colder weather, some rain and snow showers move in east of the divide and further south as well by the middle of next week. And in the long term, the pattern is looking more active. We hinted at this yesterday, but it looks like the middle and end of November will be more stormy, colder, and I think that trend will continue into December as well. The satellite image this morning showing how fast things are moving. If you look, we have a lot of high and mid-level clouds, especially a lot of lenticular clouds east of the Continental Divide, wave cloud action, east of the Rockies across Montana and Wyoming, and you can see them in northern Colorado here as well. But you can see another big plume of moisture is just off the coast and is headed towards Washington, Oregon, then eventually Idaho, the Montana, and northern Wyoming in the coming days. While the axis of the jet stream is basically like this. So nothing going on down here. All the action is going to be up here in the coming days where those strong jet stream winds are flowing. And from the satellite image to the 500 millibar chart, there's the low right there that is just off the coast that we just showed you. Strong jet stream winds pushing in right here. That west to east flow is flooding the nation with Pacific air and generally moderating temperatures. You know, they were really, really cold and will be cold for another day in this part of the nation here. And we had some temperatures that were as cold as they've been in 70 and 80 years in Georgia yesterday. But all these temperatures are going to be getting a little bit warmer as that Pacific air gets pushed in. Windy areas, here are the wind gust forecasts through Sunday. So you can see, as usually is the case, right along the Continental Divide, in the mountain gaps and near the mountain gaps, plenty of high winds will be developing. A lot of wind over the water here under those jet stream winds. So I-80, I-25, again, will be windy, but also some strong winds all along the east slopes of the Wind Rivers, the east slopes of the Absarokas, and just out of Yellowstone Park there. So there'll be windy areas, but that means mild temperatures. This is the precipitation forecast through the weekend. So through Sunday, we again see those northern areas most exposed. A little bit of shower activity will develop as some of that moisture gets pushed up around the high like this, across portions of Nebraska and Kansas, but nothing to write a letter home about. But you're going to see some pretty significant snow in the Yellowstone Plateau, a little bit of snow in the Bighorns. You can get some good snow in this pattern up here in the panhandle of Idaho and northwestern Montana as well. This is going to be mostly rain into Washington and Oregon there. This is the snowfall forecast through Sunday. Snow levels are pretty high. This is Tuesday. By noon Tuesday, some of that weather up here in the Gulf of Alaska gets pushed eastward. Now it's disorganized, so this is not going to turn into a large storm, but colder air, a colder air mass, and some Pacific moisture will settle into the northern and central Rockies, pushing a bit further south and east off the Pacific coast. This is going to be in that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. And this is what the second wave of moisture looks like. So you can see the Colorado high country, the mountains of southern Wyoming, showers across the plains of Wyoming, out across the Dakotas. So nothing that's going to be significant, but a bit more of a southerly track of weather, snow in the high country, rain and snow showers in the plains, and it is going to cool off. Enough for some snow getting further south into the central Rockies. And this is the 10-day snowfall forecast. So over 10 days, you can see the colder air gets all the way down here into New Mexico. So we're going to be in this really mild regime probably through Monday. Then it gets a bit more November-like. Again, nothing big, but more like November as we get towards the middle to the end of next week. And there you can see the temperature anomaly by Thursday. Colder air, not terribly cold, but colder air does come back into the western United States with that pattern change. Now, long term, this is what we talked about yesterday and what we hinted at the beginning of the podcast, that towards the middle to the end of November, it's going to get more stormy. We probably will have, during the week of the, the week of the 13th, we're going to have a larger, colder low come into the western United States, dig further south and east into the region, and be followed up by other systems. Notice high pressure wants to start to build into the Gulf of Alaska again. We were showing you that with the negative Eastern Pacific oscillation, and that's what you have when you have a high pressure ridge developing in the Eastern Pacific. So we'll still keep an eye on the middle to the end of November for a colder, more wintry trend. In the meantime, have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.